As the sun reached the sky, the wind started to simmer down, but not before taking the stick house out with it. With my newly created doors and the embers digging through the walls, it was enough for the wind to come and finish the job, knocking it down like a house of cards. It was a marvel to watch. Almost right on cue, as if the whole town watched with me, the cheers were roaring out as it fell. The music began, and the people shuffled out of their homes earlier than usual. By this final day of me being here, I can tell the whole town was in sync with each other's emotions regarding the men on top of the hill. They just couldn't do much about it. Usually indifferent to such things, I was actually happy to help. There was no time for me to dilly-dally, since it was my final job today. Unlike the previous houses that I was able to enter at night, the last house was a bit trickier. The older brother had no nighttime rituals that would make it advantageous to go then, so I would have to do it in the daytime. He usually was out for a couple of hours a day, and that would be my window of opportunity. On top of that, it would be quite tricky in the first place because I knew his house was made with brick, and I had no proper tools to use that would leave me undetected. Nevertheless, I was determined and excited to try something. I laid low, prepping all of my stuff for my leave, because once I came back to this place, whether I got the last loot or not, I was shipping out. Gathering what I needed, I made it to the far side of the hill so most townsfolk would be unable to see me. Once I noticed that his house was cleared out, I, as stealthily as possible, ran up it. Without anything to keep me from being noticed, I merely crawled through the small bathroom window that I was barely able to fit through. Then I made my way straight to the study without an issue, seeing that the layout was exactly the same as the other two. I brought many different tools to get into the safe, but none seemed to work. I knew it would be hard, but I didn't think it would be impossible. Time was ticking by, and I tried practically everything I had. And once that prospect started to look grim, I knew I should just head out. So that's precisely what I did, leaving behind a bit of a souvenir. I got back to the bed and breakfast a little down from not getting exactly what I wanted, but I knew I shouldn't dwell. I gathered my stuff and started to head out of town, making a pit stop at the Straw Pig's favorite bar. I relaxed and had a couple of drinks. Then, to my surprise, in walked the three brothers. They sat at a table near me, of course unaware of who I am, and that two of their fortunes were mere meters away from them. I cozied up a bit more as I listened to their conversation. You know, I did say I'm not opposed to eavesdropping. The younger two brothers whined and complained how things weren't fair to them, not only to be robbed, but also be without a home. The two flipped between pity and anger regularly as they went back and forth, pointing fingers and complaining. The older brother didn't speak during their onslaught of grievances. He just sat there drinking a beer as if none of it concerned him, until one of them asked what he would do if the same thing happened to him tonight. He chuckled at them and said that it would be impossible for such a thing to happen to him, since he was actually smart enough to put money into his house instead of going the cheapskate route and being left with something so easily taken down. I couldn't help but think how he was right. The youngest brother didn't like his comment at all, and because he felt the town was cursed, made a deal with the oldest that said if the same were to happen to him, then they would leave together. His confidence in his house and cocky demeanor pushed him to agree to that wager. Looking at my watch, I saw it was time to go, so I paid my tab and started to head out of this town for good. However, I decided to bestow a parting gift on the three pigs. I informed them there was going to be fireworks in a few moments, and if they wanted to see it, they should head outside. They didn't budge at first, but I coaxed them into following me out. We stood in front of the bar, and I pointed at the hill where the lone brick house was. Their faces were skeptical, almost as if right on cue. When one of the pigs turned to say something to me, the sky roared with a bang. With more bangs setting off consecutively, you could see in the distance the brick walls imploding one by one. Mouths gapped, they continued to watch in disbelief as the two final explosions happened, sending money and jewels upwards into the sky. I wouldn't have felt right leaving the brick house fortune untouched, but I knew I wouldn't be able to get it for myself without being caught. So I strategically placed explosives around the house that would cause the walls to implode and the safe to explode. As I took my leave from the town nestled in the woods, there was money and jewels raining down from the sky. I also felt this was my way of giving a finder's fee to the anonymous person who reached out to me. To this day, I've never been back. But I did hear a strange rumor that there is a place surrounded by trees that has a 24-hour celebration on a particular date named Robin Hood Day. And now, many years later, after the event, there's a noble thief taking up the moniker and finding glory for himself. And I can't help but think that I was the one that set him into motion many, many years ago. Well, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed the tale of the big bad wolf. Or at least that's what I've been called.